Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Kenyans in Kenya and across borders. Here is Fidel bringing to you the Politics, a channel that discusses politics, makes you to understand the political language. I keep saying in this channel that never make a mistake of taking as the gospel truth or at face value what a politician says. The message is always in what hasn't been said. That is the truth about politics. And I keep also saying that politics is not a dirty game, but the politicians are dirty people. In fact, the worst form of a human being is becoming a politician. That being said, today I want to discuss a very controversial topic, very controversial really. And I want to analyze to you why William Ruto won the 2022 elections. There has been a lot of conspiracy. There's been a lot of heresy. There's been a lot of hearsay about William Ruto rigged the election. Raila Odinga never lost the election. The truth is, Raila Odinga lost the election of 2022, whether in default or in design. Similarly, William Ruto won the 2022 elections fair and square. And here is why. We have been in this country, we have witnessed a number of elections. Those who are old enough, we have been voting, and numbers don't lie. Numbers don't really lie. So here is about figures. And the first reason why I believe William Ruto won the 2022 general presidential elections is because UDA, the president's party, got the highest number of members of parliament and senators and governors by all standards. Yeah? So UDA, as a party, not as a coalition, as a party, gets 144 to 145 MPs elected on a UDA ticket. What is the number of elected MPs in Parliament, in the National Assembly? It is 290. So, simple mathematics, if you take 145 times 2, you'll get 290. So, therefore, William Ruto got half of the National Assembly in terms of his party alone, UDA. Notwithstanding, the other parties which were part of his coalition with Musalia Mudavadi, with Moses Wetangula. But UDA itself, it outperformed every other party, securing 145 MP seats out of 290. Half, the mathematical half of the National Assembly is UDA. Man, that can only mean that the guy got enough votes to make him president. That also means that half of the constituencies voted for a UDA candidate. How is it that a UDA candidate can win in a constituency, but then the presidential candidate does not win in that constituency? Think about it. Because if I am a UDA candidate as the party, it is possible, chances are 80% that yes, people will vote for me because I support their presidential candidate of choice. Basically, that is it. And number two, Raila lost Moses Wetangula. Raila lost Musalia Mudavadi. I will say politically Raila lost Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. In Bungoma alone, which is presumably and politically Moses Wetangula's political bedroom, Ruto outperformed Raila. In fact, Ruto got 265,000 votes. He almost scored up to 65%. What did Raila get? Less than that by far. So that tells you then that Raila losing Wetangula, he therefore lost over 250,000 votes. Raila losing Musalia Mudavadi is the same thing. Now, the failure for Raila to name Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate cost him over 200,000 votes from Ukambani region, basically. And those were the votes which were going to make him president. If you analyze the voting patterns of the elections of 2022, it is clear that William Ruto performed better in many regions, which were presumably Raila's strongholds. Then the question begs, if we see that William Ruto, rigged the election of 2022, is it possible to rig an election even where your opponent claims to be his stronghold? For example, can William Ruto steal elections in Kitui? Would he have stolen elections in Mombasa? Would he have stolen elections in Makueni or Machakos counties? Would he have stolen votes in Nairobi? Your guess is as good as mine. So that means that William Ruto got good votes in Raila's strongholds. And that is what propelled William Ruto to a resounding victory. I call it a resounding because he was going against the incumbent. Remember he being the deputy president, but being at loggerheads with the then sitting president, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta. Obviously, it was not going to be an easy ride, but he withered the storm and he emerged the winner. Although very thin margin, but for me, under the circumstances which were at play, that was a resounding win. And number three, what is important is that I doubt if Raila Odinga is serious with becoming president. I really doubt. So that is why every person who wants to become president and they have a sensible following, they would want Raila Odinga to be on the ballot. Because Raila Odinga knows that if he's going to contest against anybody who is cheap, who is easy, who is weak, he allows them to win because he always knows that they will come back calling him to be part of that government. And that has been Raila Odinga's way of doing politics, if you study, now for quite a while. So, personally, I am not sure that William Ruto won that election because how are we sure that then Raila Odinga was serious with that election? Because if really Raila Amolo Odinga believes that his election was stolen by one William Ruto, then is it possible? How is it plausible? How is it admissible? How is it, credible that then today he can be part of this government which he believes that stole his election? You understand? I therefore beg the question, is it in order for your neighbor to steal your cow and then you go and ask the neighbor permission to milk your cow, which he stole or she stole from you? That is the scenario that we are in. It's a total quagmire, Therefore, for me, I believe for those three good reasons, William Ruto won the 2022 presidential elections. Everything that we hear is noise and scapegoating, which is extremely, extremely and fundamentally unnecessary. And that is my take. Let me hear your take from the comment section. Let us continue directing and bringing information to the fore so that we continue to stay strong to the political sphere of this country. Information is power, and power is here. Thank you.